Daniel.
And this is episode 2. We're going to talk about a lot of, recent buzz today about some All-Star stuff.
As we're filming this.
Yes. But before we get started, just make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you comment. We're going to be answering questions now that you guys comment. So if you comment a question you want us to talk about, just leave that in the comments. The one with the most likes will be shared. It's basketball or football related, nothing stupid. We're not going to answer it then.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the All-Stars. I really wanted to talk about this. Everybody does. And it's been the recent buzz. You've got your starters were announced a while ago, and now you got your reserves announced. And there's been a lot of snubs, which I don't find to be a lot of snubs, but you do.
Yeah, I do. So I think Bam Adebayo is a snub. I do think he is having a better season than Vucevic. I also do think if Jimmy didn't get COVID, I think Jimmy would have been a for sure All-Star.
I could agree with that.
But because he had COVID, I mean, couldn't make it because he had COVID.
Yeah. Because if he played a lot more games and the way he's been playing recently, then he's been a lot better. And then with him being on that Heat team, they're probably in a playoff spot. Not over the Bulls. Competing for a 4th seed now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
That just shows how bad the East is.
Hey, I think we deserve that spot, even if the East is good. But yeah, I can see that Jimmy point. Some arguments could go towards Ingram missing out, which I feel like Zion and the other players did deserve it over him. Van Vliet's an interesting case, though. Van Vliet's been playing very, very good this season, and now that the Raptors are in the playoffs and they're like competing for like that 6-5 seed now, you could make a case that he can make it over guys like Vucevic.
Yeah.
Although Vucevic has been playing very
Vucevic,
good.
I'm not saying he's been playing bad. I just think Bam deserves it over him.
Yeah. As a biased Heat fan, you would say that.
Yeah.
And then this is the one that I wanted to address. Trae Young didn't make the All-Star team, and neither did Siakam even be in conversations, and so is Kemba. All 3 of them were starters last year, and they've completely fallen out of this whole thing. But the reason why Trae Young didn't make the All-Star team was actually addressed by Kenny. King of the Fourth Quarter, he does a talk show too.
Shout him out.
Yeah, obviously, called Game. But he didn't make it because coaches don't like the way Trae Young plays. That's, like, you even have his idol saying that that's not basketball. Like, Steve Nash didn't like it. Greg Popovich said that he respected it, but obviously he hates when it happens.
Oh,
all those free throws.
Greg Popovich, I know, doesn't like that.
Yeah, and obviously Trae Young, amazing. Like, you gotta give props to the person for being able to, like...
No, yeah, he's a great basketball player. Yeah. It's just no one likes his style of play.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really unfair to his legacy because he plays very well. He's a very great player, but not putting him in the All-Star game because you don't like him and not getting the votes because you don't like him really hurts his career. So that's mainly probably why the reason Trae didn't make it. Obviously, Levine's been ridiculous, so he's going to make it over, and the guard position's really stacked. But Trae Young not making it mainly because the coaches don't like him it bothers me a bit. Yeah. I kind of took that over, my bad. But, and then you also have Conley.
Yeah, Conley, like, he hasn't made the All-Star yet. He's having a much better season than he did last year. Last year, the Jazz were a disappointment, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some, like, there's great All-Star guards, but I do think someone like, Chris Paul, I feel like is the closest one he could get to.
Yeah. Although Chris Paul's been playing.
Yeah, Chris Paul's been playing good. It's just... Yeah. Chris Paul, or probably, like, Paul George. But Paul George has been playing out of his mind.
So it's like most of these snubs that you guys are talking about don't have a place here. Like, you've got guys like Shea who are, like, very, very good. And you want to see him make the All-Star team. But does he deserve it over these guys? That's the question you got to answer. And that's the question that it's mainly a no. You know?
Yeah.
So I also wanted to talk about some close calls like Kyrie. Kyrie hasn't really been playing that much, and he's been playing very good. I think he's averaging around like 29 right now. But Kyrie's been, hasn't played a lot, so you don't really see him being a starter. Like, obviously, I want Kyrie in the All-Star game. He's very good, talented. But you don't see him making that starter spot over some of these guys who've been playing for longer periods of time and better. What do you think?
I agree with you. Like, I personally do not like Kyrie. But I do think he deserves to be in the All-Star game.
Okay.
I think he for sure, there wouldn't be a conversation about it if he didn't sit out the amount of games he did for no reason.
Yeah.
But
I mean, birthday parties are more important than your entire career.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's more important than your job. Very
all
professional.
to him for that. No
Very
masks.
professional.
Yeah. And then I'm really excited for this All-Star game. I feel like this is the most talent
this one's going to be a fun one.
Like, there's so many great players that are on the bench too.
Yeah.
And then also, just to let you guys know, Anthony Davis is being replaced with Devin Booker because of his injury, which, I mean, a guard for a big.
That's a little bit weird, but
I mean, you've got so many guards.
Yeah, Devin Booker deserves to make it.
Devin Booker did deserve to make it. He's been very good. We were going to talk about the biggest surprises and disappointments this season because there have been a lot of teams that have been interesting to talk about. So who is your biggest disappointment?
My biggest disappointment is the Celtics.
Makes sense.
They've been playing awful. They have played without Kemba, but Kemba's back and they're still they're not even in the playoffs as of right now. Yeah. I think they'll find their way back in, but they've just been not good. Yeah.
And even if they are barely in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's still a disappointing year in the Eastern Conference.
Because this is a team that you're looking at trying to be a contender. And they just haven't been that. They were in the beginning of the season. They were pretty good. But pretty good is not the expectations for this team. You're looking at 2 All-Stars and Kemba Walker, who's been decent, disappointing as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's coming off an injury.
Yeah. And then you made some good signings like Tristan Thompson. So you're trying to find yourself into a higher spot. But in a weak East, you should be able to hit a 3-4 seed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially with that team.
Yeah. And this is one of the teams that I feel like should be looking for a different forward, or they should be looking for Andre Drummond.
Yeah, Andre Drummond. Yeah. They've needed big man help. I mean, last year they had Theis. Yeah. I mean, they still have Theis. And then Tristan Thompson. I mean, it's not what they need.
Yeah, Tristan, they need one of those. They need old school Bill Russell back in the day. Get him another 12 rings. Not gonna happen though. No, I mean, I love Andre Drummond, but Yahoo doesn't let me put him on IR. But that's for a different time. My biggest disappointment is between Washington and the Hawks. I never really saw Washington being too high in the playoffs, but they've been one of the worst teams in the league. I didn't see that happening at all. Yeah, they just can't play defense. But I feel like one of the most disappointing teams that I saw really making the playoffs was the Hawks. Now, I think right now the Hawks are around that 9th seed realm where they're barely in the playoffs or not in the playoffs right now. And the way that their role players and their signings have been playing have just not been up to par. You have Gallinari, who just came off of, I think, a 38-point game.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, but that's the one game that hopefully lights a spark in him, but probably won't. And he hasn't really showed up. I know he was hurt, but he hasn't showed up. You have Bogdanovich, who's been out. And then you have John Collins, who I think he took a risk for his contract. And he signed I think he didn't sign an extension. But now he's losing money every single day because he has not been playing right. And they're even looking to shop him at this point. He has not been that second star that they needed on this team. Clint Capella's been pretty good. Trae Young, we talked about already.
Should have made the All-Star.
But be in the East and to be competitive, you have to be good. And they just haven't been that this season. And that's kind of disappointing for me. But what is your most surprising team?
The most surprising team, I think, personally, is the Jazz. I mean, before the season started, I had them making the playoffs, but I didn't think they'd be with the Clippers and Lakers. And they're the number one. Yeah, they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Part of it is because they can shoot the 3-ball really well.
Yeah.
Just surprised me. Rudy Gobert is playing good. Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a very good team.
Yeah. You got 2 All-Stars, too, because Rudy Gobert's been really great defensively. Donovan Mitchell's obviously been playing amazing. Mike Conley, all their role players. And you can see they haven't really made a lot of changes this offseason.
No.
They haven't really gotten a crazy amount of signings. Probably, Derek Favors was one of them. But obviously, he's playing, a little bit of low minutes. So, if you look at that team structure, it's not crazy. It's not a crazy difference, but the real difference was their coach. Their coach went from a non-3-point shooting team to one of the highest 3-point shooting teams in the league, and this volume that they've had has been a lot better. They've been, destroying teams, and they've been able to, beat some of the best teams, obviously, because you are the best team. But that switch doesn't happen just because the players improve. This is also a part of the coaching, so shout out to the Jazz's coach for this one. And then I'd say my most surprising team, Jazz are one of them, but also the Bulls, obviously. We weren't supposed to be in the playoffs this year, guys, but we are. And not a we, because, you know...
Well, I'm a Bulls fan.
You are?
Yeah, I just like Jimmy Butler.
Oh, okay.
And Bam, and
okay.
Hero.
Yeah, I like Jimmy, too. But, I am a Bulls fan, that's why. But, what is it? The Bulls are looking for a 4th seed. They're half a game away from the 4th seed right now. And that's impressive for a team that was supposed to be either in the play-in game or not in the playoffs at all. It's awesome to see them here. And I'm excited for them if they can make a 4th seed, which would be impressive as hell. Over the Boston Celtics right now, over some of the teams that should be higher in the bracket. They've been playing amazing. They're almost over 500.
Yeah.
Which I mean, the
Eastern Conference is not saying much.
So almost over 500
yeah.
and being a 4th seed is kind of bad because if they hit 500, then they are the 4th seed. Yeah, that's horrible. Because in the
awful.
East, you're not in the or the West, you're not in the playoffs. Then, so it's I like seeing the Bulls there.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, hopefully they make it far in the playoffs though. They probably will.
Yeah, I think they'll
go
make
against
the playoffs.
the Pacers. Oh shoot. Okay.
Pacers are a good team.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Especially if Karis LeVert comes back, that team is.
But then Thaddeus Young.
Yeah, Thaddeus Young.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're gonna move into football. So let's talk about Russell Wilson. What is the situation?
He wouldn't mind getting traded to the Bears, Saints, Raiders, or Cowboys.
Ooh.
I think the Bears and the Cowboys are the most reasonable just because they have the most to give up.
Yeah.
Like, the Bears have Foles they could give up. They have draft picks. They have defensive stuff they can give up. And the Cowboys have a receiving core they can give up. If they tag Dak Prescott, they can give Dak Prescott a couple picks. They just have great trade value for him.
Yeah, I can see the Cowboys getting him, too. I don't want to see the Cowboys move out from Dak because Dak was on track to have a historical season for himself and probably for any quarterback because he was going off.
He would have been an MVP candidate if their team was good.
And he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But so I'm really thinking that the Bears are high contenders. The Saints really don't have the cap space for them, so probably not the Saints. The Raiders don't really have the assets, even though Derek Carr's pretty good. They probably have some picks. Darren Waller's in there, but when Russell Wilson goes to the Raiders...
He's not going to want to give up Darren... Like, he wants to probably play with Darren Waller and, like, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to have those players on the Raiders to, like, actually be good. Because if you just give them Russell Wilson, they're not making it past the Chiefs this season. No way.
No way.
And then
you have the Chargers, too.
Yeah. So, especially if the Chargers step up and if the Broncos somehow manage to get Deshaun Watson, which I think is not possible. Yeah, then that quarterback four-way down would be ridiculous. But Russell Wilson leaving the Seahawks would greatly impact that conference too, because they were the top in that conference last year. That is mainly due to because Jared Goff had that thumb injury.
I think if the Niners were healthy, then it's completely different.
Yeah, because the Niners literally destroy everybody in that conference. It's amazing to watch. And my mom's a 49ers fan, so, you know, she really likes seeing them win, even though she doesn't really watch football. But, you know, she likes the idea that they're better than the Bears. That's really it. But now we're actually going to... 2 more things left. J.J. Watt has interest in multiple teams. Do you know what teams they are?
Yeah, the Browns, Steelers, Packers, and Bears. And the offers are around $15 to $16 million. So.
It's been a surprise for both of us, actually.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get a minimum deal.
Yeah.
Or, like, not like... big player money, I guess. Like, I was thinking like cheaper money and like try to get a free ring. I thought that's what he was gonna do.
Like pull a DeMarcus Cousins,
yeah,
which didn't work.
Yeah, which didn't work for him.
Which is actually kind of funny to think about. But we talked about it in the last episode, so check that out actually. But yeah, I thought he was gonna take a lower cut deal just to win that Super Bowl, like you said, and I thought that his contract was too much. That's why they sent him out, because no team was going to trade for that contract. But now so many teams are interested in J.J. Watt because he's such a special talent that now he's going to get around $15 to $16 million, which shout out to him. He's a great player, great guy.
Very, very good player and a very good guy.
Yeah. Next and last, but certainly not least, Deshaun Watson requests out again, and it's frustrating to...
It's just sad to watch this. Like, I feel like he could be one of the greatest quarterbacks we could be seeing, but he's just on a bad team.
Yeah, and this team is, first of all, such horrible decisions recently. That just whole DeAndre Hopkins for Brandon Cooks flip was horrible. David Johnson on the team now. Great player. No, he isn't. But he's really old. Like, some decisions you shouldn't make as an organization. Jadeveon Clowney's gone now. J.J. Watt's out. And they're trying to hold on to that last string of Deshaun Watson, and it's just not going to work out. Deshaun Watson wants out. He will probably sit out before he takes a snap with Houston again. And that's where you draw the line as an organization. You're like, hey, this isn't going to work out. Why don't we give the best interest into the players that have brought us to the playoffs and in a far run, too? And, I mean, not really a far run.
They would have been contenders if they didn't trade Hopkins. And
like, you have such a top team, and then you give that all away for, one loss? You don't do that as an organization. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Like, what team do you think he's going to go to? Because there's no way he's not getting traded at this point unless Texans are stubborn.
Yeah, I feel like the teams is probably the Dolphins. The Dolphins, which that hurts me because I'm a Patriots fan, and that Dolphins team would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins have picks they can give them. They can give them their their third overall pick back, Tua, and like probably another first and a second. And I feel like then you have the Dolphins being contenders all of a sudden, and then the Texans can start rebuilding again.
Yeah. And then I see him. If Miami doesn't stick with Tua, then definitely Deshaun Watson would probably go there. You see the Bears being another contender because at this point desperate for a quarterback. And then 49ers are kind of in that realm, but they said they're going to stick with Jimmy Garoppolo. If the Saints get him somehow with that huge contract situation, maybe it would be a pretty good fit. But you also have to look at the financial side of things, right? So you don't know if he's actually going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, that team would be Kamara, Michael Thomas, I don't know Emmanuel Sanders' contract, but if he's there, Traquan Smith, Jared Cook, that's a pretty good team.
And that defense is really nice too. Like, you got Marshawn Lattimore,
Cameron Jordan. Yeah.
So that's actually it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys later on Lockdown Episode 3. Turn off! God, I'm leaving this in. The struggles. Turn off! You just need a picture. Okay. You know what? We don't need a picture.
Yeah, we don't need no picture.
This is our dog. My dog, not his dog.
Not my dog.
Okay, now cut it.